Hello everyone, welcome back to Today I thought I'd do a video on fears I had when I first started riding. So as you can see, I'm in a different setting to the intro. I don't know if I'm going to stay here because obviously there's a bit of glare, but when I come closer, it's when I go like all the way back here, even if I tap on the screen. I see a lot of people that are either too embarrassed or think they can't ride because they're either too short or they are too nervous or stuff like that, which obviously comes into play when you get a bike. But personally, I was really nervous when I first got my bike, but I think pretty much as soon as you go on your first ride, the nervousness kind of goes away. Unless there is some people who have still got anxiety even after they've gone out on the road, which is fine, because obviously you're still learning, the light keeps changing. Obviously you're still learning and you're still getting used to the bike controls and everything. But I thought I'd just go over some of the things that I was worried about when I first started riding and how I kind of overcame them. So if you are getting a bike, then you can see how to overcome your worries. I say every time that I need to make a script for these videos and I never do. I have some prompts this time, which is why I keep looking over there, but I don't have a script, so I should probably start making a script. I think one of my biggest issues when I first started was actually filtering, which isn't even a necessity when you're riding, but obviously if you want to do it to get through traffic on the way to work or on the way to college or school or whatever, then it's handy. In the UK, it's legal. I don't know about everywhere else. In the UK, it's legal to filter through traffic. Yeah, so I was always too worried. I didn't do it for about 6-7 months.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Of riding because I was too scared. I think I actually didn't do it the entire time I had a moped because I was so scared that the mirrors were going to hit the cars as I was going down the middle, which obviously the moped wasn't even wide enough to do that. But once my sister had my moped and I had my bike, she's got like no fear. So she filtered and then I went behind her. And so if you have someone who has a bike, then just get them to go first. Because usually, especially with a moped, mopeds are smaller. So if you're on a moped and you... Sorry, that was a hair. If you're on a moped and you have someone that's on a bike, it's easier if they go through first and then you go. If not, there is other ways that you can overcome this fear. So another way you could overcome this fear is going to an empty car park or an empty road that's not used very often and getting some cones and lining them up with the gap size that would be down the middle of the traffic, and then just going through it and seeing if you can stay between the lines. And if your mirrors don't go over the line, which a lot of the time, your mirrors aren't even anywhere near close. There are some people who drive really close to the middle and then you can't get past, but you'll notice that and you won't go through anyway. Just do some training with it. That's the same with most things with motorbikes. You just got to train, learn, and it will all come with time. It took me a long time to be able to filter. I can only do it now because of my sister, because she did it first and I followed her through. So another thing that might be something that people are worried about, sometimes I used to be a bit worried about it, was slow moving traffic. Obviously if you don't filter, then you've got to sit in slow moving traffic. Again, I would just go and practice in an empty car park or empty road that's not used. I would also wear proper gear because I think that brings a lot more reassurance. Another thing would be to make sure that your bike is the right adjustment for you. So if you're, say, I know a lot of women who are about 4'11" to 5'3", and they are too short to be able to touch the floor on most bikes. So you can either go with a smaller bike. So with 125s, you can get a Honda Grom. If you're that short, you can get a Honda Grom, and they are a lot smaller than most bikes. So you can probably touch the floor on that one. Or you can get the bike lowered. My sister is 5'3" and she could tippy toe on a YZF R125. But if you don't fancy tiptoeing, then you can get the bike lowered, or you can just go with a lower bike. There is some cruiser bikes that are 125s, which are also quite low. Just like pick something that you know you're gonna have trust in. Because I know some people who actually went with the CBF 125. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. Her name is CBR Fam. I'll put it right here. She had a CBF 125 and she really struggled with it because she didn't trust the tyres because they were
so thin.
They were like bicycle tyres. And now she has a CBR 650R and she's so much more confident on that bike because she trusts it so much more, and the wheels are like this big. They are huge. You just got to have trust in the bike that you're on. Even on a CBF, you can trust it. It won't just fall over. But I understand worrying about it when the tyres are that thin. When you're doing slow manoeuvres, when you're practicing, the best thing to do is always have your foot over, like hovering over the back brake, and use your clutch for a lot of it. You don't actually need to use your throttle that much. If it's slow moving traffic, you might need to use it a little bit, but it's mainly your clutch and your back brake. That'll do most of the work when it comes to slow manoeuvres. There are plenty of videos that can show you how to do it. I can also do a video on it if anyone would like. I do have a bike. It all comes with training and it comes with experience. So you just keep practicing. Don't give up when it seems like you're never going to get it. You will get it. You just got to keep going at it. Keep giving it time and you'll get there. Another big thing when it comes to learning is to try and keep a positive mindset. You aren't going to be riding like the people on Instagram within the first 2 weeks of having the bike, but you will get there. A good idea is to set small tasks, like small milestones, and then that will build momentum and you'll keep learning and you'll keep wanting to learn because you'll have those small victories. So like learning clutch control, learning how to go in a straight line, learning how to corner slowly, practicing the figure of 8, like do small things to build up the momentum so that you keep wanting to get better. Another great thing I had when I was first learning was I had friends who had bikes. Obviously you won't always have it, but if you go on Instagram or go on Facebook, Facebook's really good for groups. If you're looking for a biker group in your area, go on Facebook to search biker group and then your town or your city, and then you can find beginners, you can find experienced riders, and you can just find people to ride with. I actually have a UK biker girl group chat on my Instagram, so if you do want to find girls in your area, there is a lot of girls on there that are all over the UK, so you can go on over and check that out. Back to challenges. Another challenge I faced was the fear of crashing. I think that is a very big fear when you're first learning. Maybe not even when you're first learning, it can be a fear you have always. Especially when cornering. I used to think that when I was cornering that I'd come off all the time. I didn't trust my bike at first. I thought that when I went around the corner it was just going to fall over. That used to scare me.
The best thing you can do.
Most fears when it comes to bike is just train, learn, and keep going. To overcome my fear of crashing, I kept watching videos on how to corner the bike properly. Counter steering is a good one, or power steering, a lot of people call it. Looking where you're going, that is a big one. You need to always look where you're going, not look at the floor. Look as far as you can into the corner. And body positioning is a really big one. Again, if you want me to do some content on body positioning, on counter steering, I can do all of that. You're thinking that those cats I just showed are really cute. This is from the little one. I have to clean them because they're obviously Sphinx cats and they absolutely hate it. But if you don't, they can get really dirty. So I first started trying to clean them with wipes because they obviously are not a fan of baths, but the wipes weren't doing the best job. So I was like, oh, I'll just put a bit of water in the sink with a bit of soap in there. It's Sphinx cat soap, like one that's good for their skin. and I put them in there. And the little girl, Dora, she was alright in there for a minute. And then she just started trying to jump out. And she literally just went on my hand. And it wouldn't stop bleeding. I was like, it hurt so much. And Dobby, the bigger one, the boy, he had none of it. I tried to put him in there, he just jumped straight out. So I think I'm gonna have to stick to the wipes because they're quite alright with that, because I think it's a bit more similar to like when they get cleaned by their mums. So they're a bit better with it. They actually do just sit there and let me do it. The little menace decided to. I have literally got, I don't know if you can see, I've got cuts on my hands all over from them. They are quite the little menaces. So especially with bike, the importance of patience and persistence is a really big thing. If you're wanting to properly learn, like I said in my last video, one of the big things when you're getting a bike is that you need to want to learn. You need to have to want to keep learning. And it does take a lot of time. Like, people think they're going to get their knee down straight away. But I have been riding for about 2 years. I can get around the corners a lot easier than I used to. But I can't get my knee down still. I'm still terrified of doing that, to be fair. That's tipping the bike a bit too far for me. Overcoming these fears it's not only good for learning when you're on your bike, but it's also good for other areas of your life. Like, I have anxiety, and one of the main things that you have to do with anxiety is just do it. No matter how much you don't want to, you have to face the fear and you just have to do it. So being able to do, Max has come to say hello again. So being able to face those fears and carry on doing it kind of gives you motivation to be able to do that in other parts of your life. So my main thing would be to encourage you to face the fears that you have on your bike and keep learning. But I don't think that being aware and having a bit of fear when you're on the bike is a bad thing necessarily. I think when you have no fear on your bike, that's either when you need to stop riding, or you need to learn more, or you need to move on to a different bike. Because no fear when you're on a bike can be quite dangerous. So I'm not saying that having fear is a bad thing. I'm just saying don't let it stop you from learning how to do a lot of other things that you want to learn to do when you're on your bike. I think having a community when you're learning to ride, or just talking to your family or your friends who don't have bikes, or watching videos or talking to people in the bike community when you're trying to learn, is a really great thing to have. If you don't have it, that's fine. They don't. Yes, hello Max. Just having a bike, you're part of the community, even if you don't know any other bikers. You will find them. It took me a while to find the people I have now. The people I have now are really great, and they've really helped me to learn. I thought it was a playing then. I thought we were going to have another thing where I'll be talking for ages. I am no expert. I am 18 years old. I have not been riding a big bike. I haven't ridden a big bike before. I've only ridden a 125. I'm going onto my big bike soon, so I am in no way an expert. But I just know that learning and growing every day is a really big part of having a bike. So I will link my Instagram in the description. I don't think I can link the group chat, but if you want to be part of the group chat that I have on Instagram, just comment down below or click on the link and message me through Instagram and I'll add you to it. We have a lot of girls in there. I'd really like to invite you to comment down below on your experiences and any tips you have for any other new beginners, or not even beginners, some people who are trying to learn more about how they can be better on their bike. Just comment it down below and we can all learn together. So I think that is all for today. Thank you for watching my video. I invite you to like and subscribe so you can learn more about how to get better while you're riding. Thank you for watching. Bye.